Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, I'm going to be providing an update on a company that we've actually covered a number of times on the channel previously. The company name is Kontrol Technologies, and they've had a very busy December. So we're actually going to be covering three pieces of recent news from KNR. I thought this was a very fitting way to end out calendar 2021. So this is probably going to be my last video of the year, and KNR is actually my top pick for 2022. So it's been a very busy year for the channel, tremendous amount of growth. I wanted to thank each and every one of you for watching the channel, subscribing, supporting the videos, and I thought this would be a very fitting way, again, to end out the year and to kick off 2022. Now with that being said, I'm curious to hear in the comment section below what you think of KNR, this recent news, and if you're currently holding shares. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so, and make sure you hit the like button before you head into the video. Now with that being said, let's get into today's update. Okay guys, so that's right, last video of the year, or at least that's the plan right now. Kontrol Technologies Corporation, ticker symbol on this one, KNR. This has become one of my favorite stocks to talk about on the channel. I'm personally invested. My average cost on this company is right around $2.53, so it has pulled back a little bit from where I started buying. This is what I'm continuing to add to, and it is my number one pick for 2022 for a number of reasons that we're going to talk about in today's video. If you take a look at the chart here, you can see this company has been trading in a range right around $2.15 all the way up to about that $3 mark, which we saw in the middle of November. Now you can see there is fairly strong support right around the 205, 207 level. So I think this is a very attractive entry point if you're looking for exposure into the smart building sector or space. Now market cap on this one is right around $100 million. So it is a penny stock in every sense of the word. You are getting in at the ground floor here, you guys. Kontrol Technologies has had stagnant revenues over the last couple of years. Management has really put their foot on the gas. There's a number of big initiatives, both organic and on the M&A side of things, that have really propelled this company forward. And I'm looking for some big exponential revenue growth in the years to come. So I'm super excited about Kontrol Technologies. As alluded to, they've had a very busy December here, so we're going to go through some of the more recent news articles since our last update or recap we did on this company. And this is definitely one, if you're not currently invested, I think belongs on your watch list, you guys. And again, I'd be very curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. So in terms of video format, and as alluded to in the intro, there's three pieces of news that have come out within the month of December that we're going to be covering in today's video. Now, following each piece of news, we're going to jump into the investor presentation, and we're going to talk about how the recent development or news is directly related to their plan laid out in the investor presentation. So I thought that was really cool to see that the management group is following their plan and executing to a T on what they've committed to in their corporate presentation and to the investment community. So the first one here, we're going to go through these articles in chronological order, is from December 10th, and this really speaks to Kontrol Technologies' organic growth strategy. So they've actually secured multi-year service agreements for 18 new buildings, so super exciting here, you guys, and really a testament to the quality of the products and services that the team at KNR can deliver. Now, if we scroll down into the article here, Kontrol Technologies, a leader in smart building technology, has secured multi-year service agreements for 18 new buildings. The multi-year service agreements add to Kontrol's growing recurring revenue base. So this is one of the reasons I'm so excited and bullish about this company, because they have multiple revenue streams, and these are recurring revenues that come in month after month. Now, Paul Ghezzi, who's the CEO of Kontrol Technologies, goes on to say, we continue to scale our business by adding new customers and expanding the scope of our solutions with our existing customers in both our service and building asset management platform. Our value proposition allows us to win competitive bid opportunities while maintaining our focus on scaling organically within our existing client base. So the key word there is organic growth here, you guys. Taking a methodical approach to growing our ecosystem of connected buildings provides us with visibility into our business as we continue to capture market share and drive sustainable growth for our shareholders. Now, this is super important to understand here. We've talked about some M&A activity from KNR in previous videos. We've talked about their BioCloud solution, which we're going to touch on later in today's presentation. But organic growth is a huge component of this company, and it's really one of the underlying fundamentals that I'm super bullish on moving into 2022. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Kontrol Technologies and their smart building solutions, I would highly encourage you to go back and take a look at some of those previous videos or deep dives we've done on KNR. But this is really a testament, again, to the vision of leadership or management at the organization and their ability to go in and convert these buildings over to the Kontrol Technologies platform. Now, the article goes on to explain some of the terms of these agreements. So Kontrol Technology is actually going to provide exclusive ongoing service, asset management, and what's called mission critical solutions for building systems such as heating, cooling, ventilation, or HVAC systems. These contracts or service engagements typically range from 2 to 3 years. So again, allows the company to forecast their revenue for years into the future and provides that stability to the investment community. And all of these buildings are located in the province of Ontario here in Canada. Now, the final point I wanted to mention in this article is in regards to Kontrol's SmartSuite technology. So we're going to talk about this actually in the second article in today's video, but they've come up with something they're actually calling peak shaving and peak demand management. So if you can imagine, buildings use varying levels of energy throughout the day, and there's going to be times throughout the day at which a lot of tenants or residents require electricity and times during the day when very few people are actually using electricity. So power companies have actually picked up on this, and they actually log power or electrical demand in 15-minute intervals. So what this SmartSuite technology is actually able to do is to remotely measure a building's energy consumption and actually try to decrease the amount of time or number of intervals that these buildings are spending in that peak demand category. And as a result, the buildings actually receive much more favorable energy rates and the overall operational costs are actually reduced. And that's exactly what they explain here. So avoiding these peak demand periods can often result in lower overall cost of energy as local utilities seek to either reward good energy consumers or provide incentives for solutions which help mitigate peak demand from consumers. So this is a perfect use case or example of why smart building technology is becoming so popular and how the Internet of Things is actually allowing us to rethink how we manage our buildings and building operations. Now, as promised, we're going to jump into the investor presentation, and I'm going to point out exactly how that previous article plays into Kontrol Technologies' strategic growth approach. And lo and behold, you can see here, page 14, they call out organic growth, whether it's through cross sales of their existing customer base or through organic growth with new acquisitions and new clients, which is what we just saw with the addition of those 18 new buildings. And if you look down into the bullet points, it's exactly what we just talked about in that article. So provide data insights at a low price point and secure new customers and building wins, which is exactly what we just saw. Innovative technology deployed in-house, so that's the SmartSuite technology. They're cross-selling revenue between existing contracts. They're scaling within their existing customer base through consolidation and adding new services. So BioCloud is a great example of that. And then they're leveraging that data and they're using the insights to drive stickiness of the technology with those customers. So as an investor in Kontrol Technology, you guys, this is exactly what I want to see, and management is executing perfectly on their vision here. Now, they also have the M&A side of the house, so the acquisitions, which we've talked about in detail in some of our previous videos. So we aren't going to go into that in today's presentation, but the big focus here, you guys, that organic growth, which I was super happy to see and really expect to continue into 2022. Now, next up, this is a super exciting article. Again, talks about BioCloud. This one came out on December 16th, titled Kontrol Technologies Receives BioCloud Order from Global Technology Company. So they haven't disclosed the actual purchasing company, but they're a $7 billion annual revenue company, so a major player. And they've actually come out and shipped an order of BioCloud units to this global technology company, which operates in the field of technology testing and validation. And again, you can see their annual revenues of about $7 billion. So following the completion of an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and technology review in Q3 of this year, BioCloud has now been selected by the undisclosed customer for various applications within their organization. Now, one thing that's important to understand here, you guys, is a lot of times the big news and developments in relation to some of these more cutting edge solutions aren't necessarily broadcast or pushed as hard as they could be in relation to some other news articles. And what I mean by that, you guys, is if you're a company that operates in the security space, or in this case, the BioCloud space, which is actually looking at detecting airborne pathogens, you may or may not want to disclose that openly because it may compromise some of your interests in that product. And this really became front of mind for me personally when I was conducting my research on a company by the name of Visibility, which operates in the security sector. And I realized that some of these big developments may almost be muted by the companies because they don't want to disclose more information than is absolutely necessary. And a great example of that in relation to this news article is actually how they're not disclosing who the customer is or which business actually purchased these BioCloud units. Now, the article goes on to talk about collaboration between the two organizations. So Kontrol will work closely with its new customer to determine which applications are best suited for deployment and will provide further updates on the new customer in the near future. For industry competitive purposes, the customer name will not be disclosed. So again, there is an element of secrecy here, you guys, and they don't want to overly broadcast the individual specific details of this agreement. Now, in addition to that, there's an NDA in place. This is a US-based company, so they do disclose that, and they're actually a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ market. So they're going to go in, they're going to assess the value of this BioCloud technology or solution in support of on-site rapid testing for various different airborne pathogens, including the big one we're currently battling around the world. And if we now jump into the investor presentation, you can see the direct correlation here. Kontrol talks about their BioCloud solution in depth towards the end of their presentation. It's continuous airborne viral detection, which in their opinion is going to be the new norm for buildings across the world and installed as part of traditional HVAC systems that are going to help offset the impacts and the effects of airborne pathogens and viruses like COVID-19. So the final article here, 3 of 3 that we're going to be talking about in today's video, came out on December 22nd. It talks about Kontrol Technology entering the Quebec demand response energy market. So this is very closely related to the SmartSuite technology we talked about a few minutes ago. You can see SmartSuite is called out specifically in this article as well as a best-in-class demand response solution for commercial buildings and their energy consumption or use. And the article talks about Kontrol offering this top-tier solution through SmartSuite technology, which has the ability to communicate with local utilities and either reduce power consumption or shut off power demand at the building and actually at the suite level. So this is super important here, you guys. You can imagine if you have a multi-dwelling unit, there's hundreds of different apartments or condos or suites. Some of those are going to be left vacant, and SmartSuite technology can actually go in, detect which suites are not being used, and actually limit or turn off the power that's flowing to those individual suites. So Kontrol is now going to be using this proprietary cloud energy control system in unison with Hydro-Quebec to actually offer demand response programs which encourage buildings to participate in energy reduction and energy consumption goals during those peak demand periods, which we talked about in that initial article. Now, in terms of the total addressable market, or TAM, the global smart demand response market is predicted to reach $75.5 billion by 2030 and has a compound annual growth rate of over 14% for the next 10 years, you guys. So this is a massive market here, and I really think Kontrol Technologies is in a great spot. These are proprietary, patented solutions, and they've got a real handle on the market here, which I think is going to continue to grow and really accelerate into 2022. And if we jump into the investor presentation, you can see on page 4, they call out what they call a building technology super cycle. So there's a number of buildings across the world here, you guys, that are now being retrofitted. So these solutions don't necessarily have to be built in just to new buildings. They can actually go in and update or retrofit existing buildings as well. And there's a number of macro factors that are really driving the adoption of these products and services. So number one, rising energy costs. It's more expensive to operate buildings. So anywhere that building operators or managers can actually cut some costs, they're going to welcome those solutions. That leads into the need for operational savings. There's an aging installed base, so a lot of the buildings that are up and operational have outdated systems, outdated equipment that are now needing to be swapped or replaced. There's new net zero and ESG convergence goals being set by governments and organizations around the world, so this huge push to carbon neutrality, and government infrastructure is really in place now to support these type of initiatives with various different grants and funds that are set up to help building managers and companies really achieve these goals. So there's actually a quote here from Morgan Stanley. We see commercial building modernization as one of the best points of convergence between sustainability and technology in our coverage universe, with one of the largest installed bases in the world. We believe we are in the early stages of commercial building modernization, which is called a super cycle here in North America and in Europe. So for me personally, this is something I strongly believe in, you guys. I think this definitely is the future. The Internet of Things is really enabling this on a macro scale. And again, I think Kontrol Technologies is really in the epicenter, the right spot, the right time with the right solutions here to make a ton of money and a huge impact on this evolving and rapidly growing smart building technology space. Now, with that being said, there's definitely a couple of other factors I wanted to throw into today's video because this is my number one pick for 2022. So in addition to all of the bullish things we just talked about, the overall macro environment, the organic growth, the BioCloud solution, this company, you guys, is sitting right now right around $100 million market cap. So you can see they've actually pulled back from when this deck was put together. They have a 52-week high of over $6. Right now they're sitting right around $2. So you're getting in at a very attractive purchasing price or entry point. And in addition to that, 25% of the shares are actually held by insiders within the organization. So those are a number of additional reasons I'm so excited about Kontrol Technology moving into 2022. They've got a huge blue chip customer base, which they're continuing to grow. They've got software solutions, recurring revenue, and multiple different revenue streams. They're looking to increase their market share with a 25% target on organic growth and an aggressive acquisition pipeline. And underpinning it all is that robust moat of intellectual property, their patents, and these industry-leading, innovative, tech-centric solutions to smart building management and technology. So for those reasons, you guys, super bullish on Kontrol Technologies. This is one I currently hold. I'm continuing to add to. And in terms of small cap penny stocks, this is my number one pick for 2022. Now, with that being said, you guys, let me know in the comment section below what you think of KNR, if you're currently holding shares, and if you agree or disagree with my bullish thesis on this company. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And if you're still watching at this point, make sure you hit the like button, you guys. It's a huge help to both myself and the channel. Now, with that being said, have a great holiday, you guys. I'll talk to you in the new year, and thanks so much for watching.